Hello, everyone out there. Thank you for reading my first chapter and welcome back to my second chapter. So, this second chapter is called The Rose Garden. I think you must have guessed the way I've put already the roses. Um, it's a very special chapter in my life because any flowers, roses, jasmine, lilies, marigold, so many flowers. I think I can't even remember those names. All of the flowers I love because the smell is heavenly and the flowers are so delicate in looking and so beautifully created by God. So, this chapter revolves around the rose garden where I used to spend a lot of my time. So, let's get started. As I could recall from my childhood memories, we lived in a very big colony, which was very huge. There were all three-story buildings, big playing grounds, big school premises, big dispensary, big library, big office buildings. I think as a child, whatever you see, it seems big and huge. Even the small places, now what I see, I think small buildings and all that, now it's everything looks small, but as a child I think everything in front of you looks huge, big, massive, if I say. So for me, as a kid, looked everything big and enormous, and there were lot of trucks, flying jets, big temple, and a very big canteen, and much more. Talking about canteen, I must say you get the best of grocery items, clothes, even bikes for very affordable prices, but only for the employees. Okay. I understood. You guys must be getting confused. Like, where was I staying? Big jets, big trucks, big buildings. I'm talking and canteen, big school, big library. Okay. Okay, actually, my father was a sergeant working in an Indian Air Force, and hence we were living in that huge colony in the Indian Air Force quarters, which was in outskirts of New Delhi. As I mentioned earlier, it was three-story buildings, and we were staying on the third floor, on the top floor. On the ground floor, whoever stayed, I remember they used to do gardening and even farming. Like they used to grow onions, garlic, spinach, potatoes, tomatoes, fruit trees, flower plants, and many more. But my favorite was the rose garden. It's very special to me. And space in between of the opposite buildings also used to be very huge, like a playground. I remember playing hide and seek, running in and around the buildings, in the corridors, steps, and the terrace. Wow, how beautiful was the childhood days! And also all the aunties chit-chatting and drying up the chips, poppers, raw mango pieces, noodles on the big sheets of plastic on the wooden beds during the summer. There was an opposite building where, on the ground floor, there lived an uncle who stayed alone in the house. He had no one, hence, he planted, I believe, rose plants and made a beautiful rose garden, which was truly mesmerizing and eye catching like a scenery. Every day I remember visiting this garden after school, just running between the rooms and finally walking into the rose garden. I remember just smelling the flowers for hours, but never plucked a single flower, even though the uncle gave me permission to pluck. I used to admire the beauty in the flower and never intend to pluck and waste the flower. I felt the flowers are good without plucking, as they look more beautiful on the plants. I never even put the rose on my head or, for instance, any flowers, as I used to feel always their beauty. I only used to smell flowers holding them in my hand and love the smell. And I also used to admire the beauty of the flowers, how soft, supple, and so fragile they used to be. All the aunties used to request me for the rose flowers for special occasions like parties, but I only used to pluck them by taking permission from the uncle, as he was the owner of the rose garden. Hence, I used to take permission. Uncle used to adore me like his own daughter, and often he used to tell me that I'm with a good heart and manners. Also, he told me that I'm brave even at my tender age, as I was only 5 years old, 4 to 5 years old between. But I was lovable and talkative and chirpy. I remember wearing rose on my head upon request from the uncle on some kid's birthday party. I have the picture too. I'll share that later in my journals. Keep looking for that. Next chapters. So this was the chapter 2, The Rose Garden. My favorite chapters of all. Again, I'll meet you all in my next chapter. Ciao for now. Have a nice day to all. Take care. And also, I would like to tell you guys now the weather here is cloudy, windy, and bit of cold. It's 25 degrees and it's very chilly but beautiful weather. And I see some roses blooming outside my garden, which I love. And for more chapters, please subscribe and do comment, as your comments would be valuable and precious to me. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Ciao. Take care. Love you all.